And now, Freelance Heroism presents Return to Ravenloft.
Hey everybody, welcome to Freelance Heroism. My name is Dees.
And I'm Rachel.
And before I even get started, we just want to say thank you to everyone out there who donates at the Patreon, in particular those who donate at the producer tier.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel, would you like to let us know who they are?
I would love to. We want to say thank you to Dungan, Crispy, Nate, Breakmeister, and Rebecca. Thank you so much, everyone.
You help us make a better show for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Rachel,
Dees.
you had a great idea for the intro today. You're scouring through Steam. You got an idea on you?
So I was actually looking through Kickstarter because I have a bunch of minis through Kickstarter that are finally getting shipped right now. So it's the only thing I have pending on Kickstarter. So I was like, why not click around on Kickstarter,
buy some more.
See what else is going on. The only thing I really use for Kickstarter is to just get minis because I like painting minis and I have hundreds of unpainted minis, so why not get some more?
Right, makes sense.
Yeah. So I go onto Kickstarter and there's not like a very clear way to find minis. Like it's not really under just games or art. You have to go under games and then it's like gaming hardware or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I start clicking through it and the vast majority of these Kickstarters for minis are just STL files. Like they're not sending you the actual physical mini. They're going to send you the 3D printer model and then you would print it yourself.
Right.
There is a lot of that.
Yeah.
On top of that, there were quite a few that were not good quality.
Yeah.
They didn't look great, which I understand if you're just starting out, you know, it's not going to be like super high quality, but some of them did not look good. But also a lot of them were just like sexy pinups of like demons or something, or it's like, oh, here's like a bunch of lady rangers and they all have big boobs, you know?
Yeah.
Like a lot of them are just that sort of thing, which like I don't have an issue.
You gotta love a big boobed lady ranger.
I don't
is that what it's called? BBLR.
I don't have an issue with like people getting pinup minis to paint or whatever, but I would like some non-pinup minis.
Yeah.
But going through this, it was depressing, and it reminded me of a different depressing thing, which is the state of Steam right now. Yeah. I'm gonna sound very old, but I remember a time when Steam had completed games on it, and they were curated, and they didn't have like a bunch of porn games on.
Yeah.
And that's very different from Steam today, which it feels like the majority of games on Steam are all sort of like early access. Yeah. It's like we've completed 15% of our game and you can buy it right now, and we're totally going to have all these great updates later on.
Yeah, I mean, that is a thing. Do you remember Wares?
No.
They call it Juarez?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so do you know what Juarez is?
No.
Okay. Well, then this is probably just going to fall on deaf ears here.
I'm sorry.
But it was this place where you would... Wares was a place on the internet back in the day where you could download, like, tools, right? Uh-huh. So, like, things you would need to, you know, make your computer work differently than it does. Mm-hmm. And there would be all kinds of scripts and things like that you could download. And then at some point, it got really creepy where you'd, like, go to download something. It would be, like, the script that you would want would be wedged between a bunch of bootleg porn vids, and you'd just be like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
And then it got even creepier where it was like, I don't want to go into this, but it was like it was a creepy fucking place, and so people would only go there in moments of desperation, right? And it feels like, because it started out as like a tools place and then got really creepy really fast.
Yeah.
The more, like, I guess the more people knew about it, the more you could like kind of cater to the creeps out in the
Yeah,
world.
I feel like Steam is like that now too, because I remember they didn't have adult games
Oh
on there.
no, they always did.
Well,
They've done.
they were much more hidden, or I never saw them, but
Well,
now,
we had a problem when we were looking for games. There were games that were like overly violent, and
yeah,
we had to turn on the show all games instead of show whatever. So that
hmm
setting might be causing problems. But you're
yeah,
100% on the early access shit.
yeah,
That is getting really annoying.
yes,
I'm of the mind that if a dev company is really small,
mhm,
like I'm talking really small, right?
yeah,
And they're making a game, maybe they need to get financing in a little early to finish the game.
hmm
And I understand that. I'm not like taking that away from them, but some of these companies are way too big to be offering early access shit. Finish your
yes,
game and then sell it, right?
yeah. I would say, like one of the major ones is Larian Studios. They did
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate. They have like other completed games that are good, and it's like a very similar format to how Baldur's Gate is. So it's not
Yeah.
like they were trying something new, and it's not like they hadn't made a game before. But Baldur's
Yeah.
Gate was in early access for years.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like a 2 year early access, which is a lot of
Mhm.
time. And
Yeah.
granted, the end product is supposedly very good,
Uh,
though it is a buggy mess, and I don't
yeah.
care who fucking said it. It's a buggy mess.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, so I mean, there's a culture that happened when internet became plugged up to your console, and internet was just a reality of being connected to your PC,
Yeah.
right? Where
Mhm.
now games could be shipped. I think the console thing's probably more dramatic because for a long time, for years and years and years, consoles did not connect to the internet. They were a box in
Mhm.
your living room.
Yeah.
So when they sent you a game, it needed to be done. It
Yes.
needed to be perfect and it needed to be tested up and fucking down
Mhm.
so that it didn't have bugs and errors and crashes
Yeah.
because you could not send a day one patch out to fix it.
hmm
So test your game and
Yeah.
then sell the game.
Yeah.
And like now a lot of these games get shipped in all sorts of states, like games that
hmm
launch that are still buggy.
Yeah.
Like, guys, I mean, look, if it's hard, I get that it's hard, and I'm not taking anything away from that. The job is tricky, and
hmm
sometimes players act in behaviors you hadn't considered,
Yeah.
you know. But I mean, we're talking times where like just recently in Throne and Liberty, they
Uh-huh.
launched this game. It's been out for 8 months in Korea.
Oh,
It
okay.
it came out in America, and they had issues with the beards just disappearing in the character creator. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How is that not something that that's not like a player did something weird.
hmm
They selected a character and went to put beards on and they weren't there.
Yeah.
That's a you thing. That's a you need to have that fixed
hmm
thing. And granted they did fix it. But my point is like, why would you release that game like you didn't try beards in the character creator ever? Like 8
Yeah.
months in Korea, nobody mentioned that hey, beards disappear when you click on.
You had
So
with another game a day one patch issue where because you could not access the day one patch.
oh yeah, Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Elden Ring is a great game. I want to
Mhm.
clarify.
Yeah.
It is a good game, and
Yes.
I have come around on it.
Mhm.
I thought this game is. I still think that their story is bullshit. I think that they just like, oh, we put out a game that's very cool looking,
Mhm.
and then in order to give you the lore, we're gonna leave like a bunch of pages of books all over the fucking place, and it's like just
Or
tell me
or
the fucking story.
or you pick up like a piece of armor or a sword or something, and then you go to look at it in your inventory, and then you tab over to like the little 2 sentence bit of lore that it gives you.
Just tell me the fucking story. Make a cutscene.
Yeah.
You know.
Mhm.
I don't. I just don't. I don't. We're in the future of games, right? Where I
Mhm.
can ride a fucking goat horse off of a fucking spring into the air 80 feet, land, and then fight a 6-armed dude who wants to murder me.
Right.
Can I please just get a cutscene to explain to me who that guy is? He says his name at the beginning, and then like I gotta fight
Mhm.
him, and I'm kind of
Mhm.
focused on that. And
Yeah.
they don't really give me any context or clues. And they're like, well, if you look here on the backside of his elbow, You could see where it was. I'm like, how the fuck would I see that? Just tell me the story. Why is it hidden?
I also wanted to complain about Elden Ring. I hate how like all the major NPCs, they have like four names and then like each name is slightly different from the other.
Yeah.
Because if you, like me, don't play the game for a while and then you go back into it, then it's like, oh wait, is this who is Godric? Who is
It's Godric,
Goddard?
Gadric, Gadrin.
Yeah, like there's like eight different guys who have some form of the name Godric that's like slightly different from each other. And so then if I see one of them or I read a piece of lore or some NPC mentions one of them, then I'm like, which guy are you talking about?
Don't think too hard about which one they're talking about, otherwise you'll miss the fucking subtle elbow texture that would give you whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like on the day one patch of
Mhm.
Elden Ring, the very first, like you put the game in and install it, and then you get an update right away, right?
Yeah.
I had a power outage, and then when it came back on, I didn't have the internet, right? The internet was down for a bunch of days.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what's a cool thing to do to pass the time? And I was like, I'll just go get Elden Ring, and I'll get real good at it so I can show Rachel.
Yeah.
And it'll be like a flex, right? Because like one of my favorite things in games is to just flex really hard. Like
Right.
to go find something that people are like, oh, D doesn't play that kind of game, and then get fucking crazy at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was what my plan was to do that. So I went and I picked up a copy of it from GameStop, came back, put it in the PS5, installed the game, started playing it. And I was like, after a little bit, I was like, oh, I need to figure out where these like materials are to upgrade my weapons, right? So like
Right.
I looked online and they gave me like some locations of where these items are to upgrade my weapons. And I'm like, all right, so I'll make a few pins and I'll head to those locations.
Yeah.
I do, and I go fight these things to get to this location. It's like a hard run because I'm like level 1 or 2 or 3. And like I go through this whole area, get to the spot, and I go to pick it up, and it's like a lily. And I'm like, no, it's supposed to be a stone 2 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's not, because apparently in the day one patch, they had patched over a bunch of stuff that was in there. Also, there's a boss who, he's like a mini boss. He disappears and blinks and then appears again, right? Well, if you don't have the updated day one patch, apparently when he disappears, both character models stay active. An invisible character model.
Oh my god.
And the visual character model that you see. So you dodge roll out of the guy who's swinging at you, who can't hit you apparently. And then there's the invisible one who can still hit you.
Oh my god.
Which is weird because as soon as you patch it, he's real easy to beat.
Yeah.
Right? There's a bunch of that kind of stuff. And like, so I've been playing this game unpatched for I think it was like 9 days or something like that.
Yeah, it was quite a while.
It was one of like the new one's not so bad.
Right.
The old one sucked.
You were playing on extra hard mode.
I was playing on fuck you mode. Yeah, it was like yeah, so it was like you go through this really complicated run, like you're like constantly getting on your horse and getting off your horse to descend to scale a wall in these very specific spots, and then hop back on the horse to run through these fucking barrages of bears or whatever that are trying to murder you. And then you get to the location, you pick it up, and it's not the item you were looking for. It's not even, it's nowhere on your list of items that you were looking for. It's some fucking flower.
Yeah.
And like I just started calling it flower picking, where like I'd still have to check to see if the item that I was looking for was there. But when I got there, I knew it wasn't going to be the item I was looking for. It was going to be a flower.
Yeah.
What's her name? What's her name's Lily's?
Trinia, I think.
Trinia's lilies or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I had so many of those fucking things. It was so crazy.
Sorry.
Yeah, but it was just like I'm rocking a +2 sword because I can't get the next one. And then I was like, okay, that EG guy has got him, right? So I just got to get through Caelid.
Caelid sucks too. I hate that zone.
That wasn't so bad. I like those skeletons move real slow, and the big crow bird can't see it, don't attack him. Like you kind of get tricksy with them. But like, man, That game, it's already a tricky game. It's not
Yeah.
like super. I don't think it's super hard, but it's
No.
like it's challenging.
Yeah.
But it's really challenging when you can't upgrade any of your weapons.
Yeah.
And you can't, you know,
Yeah.
you go places like they're like this boss drops this. You told me this boss drops a summon. I'm like, does
Hmm.
he?
Yeah.
And I killed him. Like I got a hammer, and it's not even a good hammer.
I was like,
It's a mildly okay hammer.
I got a summon. So now I can summon that guy I just beat to like beat up other mobs for
Nope,
me.
not me. And then there's a whole bunch of chests that are out in the world, like are in dungeons or like the
Mhm.
little dungeon crawl things you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you go all the way through it, you open the box and it's just empty.
Oh my god.
It's like, what in the fuck is this?
So mad.
I just beat the hardest. You know those little, what are those, pig goblins?
The imps. I hate those. I hate those so much.
They're,
Yeah.
every single chest and item that was on the ground in that entire thing.
Ugh.
All the chests were empty, all of them. And fucking everything was a flower.
Oh
Everything
my
was a flower. And I was like, well, this felt not like a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry.
That being said, it's still cool to, fight giant crabs and shit.
Yeah.
It's nice. But it was, I
But
don't know.
yeah, it's this problem of like things not being finished for release,
Yeah.
And it's just frustrating.
Even games I like.
Mhm.
Enshrouded's a fantastic game. We all
Yes.
love Enshrouded.
Yeah.
Excellent game.
Yeah.
But it is early access, and we beat the shit out of what we have,
Hmm.
and there's nothing else.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting for the next thing, and apparently next month there's supposed to be a big new zone. But we're gonna be in the same boat after we beat that.
Yeah.
We
And the
gotta
thing
wait
is,
another 8 months until another patch comes out.
and like, is that update even coming next month? Or next month, are they going to say, hey, we got to do some more work on it? Also, it's the holidays, so we're pushing it back 2 more months. And it's like, we paid for this game. And I mean, I know that's part of you're told when something is early access, but
Yeah. But
the-
everything's early access a little bit now.
yeah.
So like Wayfinder came out in early access, and we were
Mhm.
all like, "Oh, this looks great. The art looks great.
Yeah.
It seems like a good pick up and play game." And it was such a buggy mess that like,
Yeah.
it was like games crashing left and right, and it was like causing memory leaks, and it was like, at one point, I think they were like 14 light sources in this one
Yeah.
switchover area, so you could play 20 feet to the left or 40 feet to the right, but if you got right into this little gap,
Hmm.
the game would just stutter. It would go down to like
Yeah.
6 frames a second, and
Yeah.
and then they'd put mobs there, so you'd have to fight them.
Hmm.
Is a night. Remember that giant worm boss that we were fighting?
Oh my gosh.
It would
Yeah.
just bug out sometimes, and
Yes.
you couldn't deal damage to it anymore. And so the solution that they put on the Wayfinder website was just run until you zone, and then run back and fight them.
Yeah, well, we figured out another solution where it was if you had an attack that did AoE damage,
AoE damage. would
like
hit
you
'em.
could, yeah, you could AoE damage it, but not direct attack damage it.
Yeah.
Which was really fun if you were in a group of randos and you were trying
Uh-huh.
to explain that to them. Yeah.
It was complicated. Yeah.
Yeah.
and now like the game that we had all signed up for, this like kind of light MMO
Hmm.
looter shooter kind of character based thing,
Yeah.
is no longer that anymore.
Yeah. And at this point, it's like, well, this isn't what I paid for.
Right, but there's no refund because you played more than 2 hours on Steam.
Mhm.
So it was like, yeah, I know
Yeah.
I played more than 2 hours on Steam. And then after 8 months, they changed what the game was to
Right.
something else. So like, look, it's not bad. I'm not
Mhm.
saying it's a bad game. I like the bones of it, but it's still, even when they made it no longer an MMO, they made it an online, you run the game,
Mhm.
and then your friends can join into your game and play.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, that means that all cross progression is gone because they don't have a server side like ownership of your account, right?
Mhm.
And now like whoever's hosting the game has to run the game for everyone else, which puts a severe strain on your PC. So now the specs are all out of whack.
Mhm.
And they are like, oh, we keep putting out performance patches to run better since it doesn't have to use the network anymore. You're not limited by the amount of information that we can host on the server.
Yep.
And it's still buggy.
Yeah.
they just they just went from early access into full release.
Mhm.
They've changed the entire nature of the game.
Yeah.
Like the entire nature of why we got it is
Yeah.
now gone. It still runs like shit. And they're adding like new characters. And I'm like,
Mhm.
get anything to work.
Right.
And now it's like the first week that it's out for release,
Mhm.
version 1.0, and it's on deep discount. It's like it's down to
Yeah.
like $20 now. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
It's yeah.
guys,
Mhm.
come on.
So
I
in
just-
go ahead.
Sorry, not in conclusion. There's a bunch of these types of games that are like that, and for every good game that is in early access and then gets really popular and becomes a good game,
Mhm.
there's 1,000 of them that barely make it out of the early access. They never even crawl their way out, and then they just stop supporting it before it's even out of early access. And you're just
Yeah.
like, why did I mean,
Why did I support you?
people say don't pay for the early access games then.
But the problem is that most games now
That's what I mean.
are early access. So it's like, okay, I can either, buy this tiny sliver of usually all like AAA games, or I can take a chance and try to support maybe a smaller developer, but
Yeah.
there's no guarantee that the game's going to be complete or that the game's going to be the same thing it was when I bought it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Enshrouded for me is the best example of a good early access, even though I'm
Yes.
still kind of pissed off with them a little bit. But
Yeah.
they're better than the others, right?
Mhm.
Where like Enshrouded was, this game works.
Mhm.
It plays and it functions, and every so often you get a bug, like if you plant too much like wheat seeds, your game will
Right.
crash or something. It's weird shit.
Yeah.
But they fix that, and Uncharted is just doing this thing where they expand content, and that I understand, that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever you put out in early access can't just be like the fucking alpha test, give us money. It
Yeah.
needs to be a functional game.
Yeah.
And then you can add shit onto it later, but it needs to be functional, and don't change the entire basis of your game
Right.
after people purchase it. That's a dick move. You can't buy an MMO and then they go, actually it's a single player game.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. So that's the gripe, I think, with early access is.
Yeah. So my complaint from this intro is I want full games on Steam, and I want actual physical minis on Kickstarter. And some of them need to not be big boobed ranger girls.
Yeah, BBLR. Oh man. Yeah, no, you can tell when people are, there's a difference between we need your support to make this game and just give us your money. Like at this point it's a heist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
to the episode, I guess.
To the episode. So this is Return to Ravenloft, Season 3, Episode 19, 5 Feet of Puke.
Is that what the title's called?
Yeah, it's a measurement of distance.
5 feet of puke.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a me thing or was that someone else thing?
I don't remember.
Okay. I thought I would remember that if I said that.
Well,
I don't listen to you guys at all.
All right, as you guys step up, there is a large blue giant crystal-like object sitting on the floor with a silver kind of base keeping it there, glowing and pulsing. Around the room is a blue force wall magically keeping it in. As it pulses, you see the light coming through it. On the other side of the wall, you see 4 whites lined up, kind of pacing around it. You see on the other side an elven woman, the red veins of you guys immediately recognize the necrocore.
Necrocore.
You see the red veins of a necrocore pulsing through her as she's pounding on this blue wall. But what catches your eyes the most is standing in the room as it's pulsing, you see a one-armed undead kind of flesh standing there. The eyes are kind of sunken in, almost skull-like. The coat is folded up, a red coat, arms folded up, standing there looking at the five of you as you enter the top of the stairs, and it just kind of smiles. Almost familiar voice kind of comes out through it, but it's kind of croaky through magic. It took you a while.
And they have one arm
One arm.
and their heads collapsed.
No, it's a skull with
Oh.
kind of slight flesh tagged to it here or there. The other hand, he begins popping runes on the floor around the blue. Kavir, you recognize as a cursed elven mithril, glowing and pulsing. Adria, you've heard stories of these in the books your mother had. Rain, I'm not sure how much elves your character has dealt with.
Not a whole lot. The
You said this is a cursed elven what?
Mythal?
Mythal.
Yeah, because when you started describing this thing, my brain went back to when we went to the Institute. Didn't they have
You're thinking the Death Stone.
The Death Stone. I didn't know if this was similar to that or not.
Larger, but definitely a lot more power pulsing.
Okay.
And with the one hand, he begins to continue to drop runes around it.
I'm going to have to ask you to stop doing that.
You actually shouldn't, because it's the only thing saving your life right now.
Why is that?
He looks at you and he stops. I failed.
You failed?
I failed all of you. And he stops another one. He looks at Rain. Don't trust the ferryman, whatever you do. It's not a deal you should take.
The ferryman.
The ferryman. It was a lot of good years with you around, but don't trust the ferryman. The price he never told you.
I'm going to
The coin you picked up.
Oh.
Drops it down. Drops another one. He sheepishly kind of looks up at Adrian, back down to it. At least you woke up.
What are you doing?
I'm sending the mithril into the future where it belongs. You all die in 5 minutes if this doesn't go through.
I'm going to look at the coat. Familiar?
It's a red coat. You recognize it. You recognize the style of it very, very quickly.
Whose coat?
The lich standing in front of you.
No, I mean the coat. I have an instinct. Is this my coat? Is this another person's coat?
It is a remake of one of your coats.
One arm. Victor.
That was my thought.
Do you say it out loud?
Yeah, say it out loud.
The bone smiles. I fucked up. Don't let me become the Dark Lord.
How can we help?
You gotta stop me.
I'm going to roll my sleeves up.
I need to take this into the future. This fool has no idea what he's doing. He blows everybody up.
Who?
He points at the Necrocore. He was lied to by the dragon. Why do you think Eb's not here? Eb told him this would be the way to draw power to defeat you guys. I tortured it out of him later once he came back. Tortured his friend too once that revenant respawned again. Spent a good 100 years torturing them both. But if I
Victor.
don't get this out of here, there won't be anything in the future worth having.
I'm gonna look at AG. I'm gonna give her the facial gesture to insight.
Yeah. I'm also going to be like slowly approaching
I'm gonna
Victor.
help action. Roll twice.
Okay.
And you also said there were 4 whites, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have they
They're
paid any
outside the
attention?
blue shield.
But have they paid any attention to us? Do they
Oh yeah,
react?
yeah. They're kind of like they're still pacing, but now they're eyeing you guys and him.
But they're not reacting to anything he's doing.
They're
They're
wanting
just
into the barrier, but they can't breach it.
oh, okay.
29 insight.
He's telling the truth and he's full of pain.
Where's Relena?
I told you I failed. We killed the other you, but it came at a price too high. You know how long it took to learn a spell to come back in time to take this out? How much power it took this to absorb to get there? I've been holding off the Doom Guards. They only answer to the Lord of the Darkon.
And that's you.
You gotta stop me. You can't let me come back with the blood of Strahd.
We'll make sure it's done.
Without you guys to guide me, I I should take more responsibility. I can't. I lost you twice. I couldn't.
Can I approach him?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have my sword drawn. I'm not making any threatening gestures. Adria's just very slowly approaching. And she's gonna hold her hand out to Victor.
He reaches back and puts his bone hand in yours.
She will give his hand a like friendly kind of squeeze. Like, okay. We'll make sure things go right.
I screwed up.
It's okay.
Where are you today? The other you.
Today,
Right now.
I'm in Ravenloft looking for Strahd.
Where?
He's missing in the mirror in the dark mirror. He's missing.
In the mirror.
Yeah. There's a I'm kind of actually pretending to be the dark you fighting the dark her.
I'm gonna look back
Uh,
at Rain.
I
You got
wasn't
all
going to
this?
tip my hand that there was a second Victor running around Ravenloft or running around Barovia. I knew better than to tip my hand. But thing is, the dark Adri is afraid of the dark you. So using the dark you's name, it was able to draw out certain things.
We need to pause for 1 second.
Yeah.
Nate, do you have any idea what's going on right now?
So as far as I can, so what's piecing together in
I'm
my
watching
head.
his face and he's
No,
doing
I'm
calculus in that.
thinking. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking. So
Good call,
my
Dees. Sorry.
so we know that Victor and
Relena
Relena, I think I
and
lost
Nick
my
all
phone.
went through the mirror to the dark.
Through the mirror to the dark side. So they left while we have been off doing the things that we've been doing.
Yeah.
This is obviously Victor from the future who has come back.
Right.
Something has fucked up, which is why he doesn't have anyone else with him.
We apparently die in 5 minutes.
Right. So he has come back in time to keep us from dying and then prevent him from becoming the Dark Lord.
Right.
What I was thinking about was that all of us had been pulled together into a room effectively because there was a list of candidates, if you were, for taking Aslan's position.
Mhm.
Right.
Victor was not part of that, right?
He wasn't on that.
Which means something happens to everybody else that was.
Well, or that he hears about it and ends up taking the power to try to make the world better. Like there's no part of me that believes that his motivation would be negative. That being said,
yeah, no, I see where you're. To me, it's something happened on the dark side that he felt the need to intervene and prevent from happening, and in the process of doing so, probably made things worse inadvertently. Somehow ended up becoming the Lord of Darkon, which, as he explains, which is why the Doom Guards weren't fucking with us while we were walking around.
Well, it may have been that we died, and then he was like, someone has to become Dark Lord to gain that power to go back and fix things. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
okay.
that could that might have been his whole motivation for like taking on this power is for this moment.
Not to be a time nerd here, but I'm about to do it. So let's all buckle the fuck up.
All right.
I knew this conversation was going to come with him.
Yeah, time travel's my shit. I love that shit.
I know you do.
I swear to God, if it were a thing, I would just be all over it.
Yeah.
And over it, and over it,
and over it,
and under it, to get back to over it. If this thing is going to do a thing that's going to kill us all, I assume that it would have to have all of us in range for it to happen. And the only reason we're here is because we were investigating a thing that would blow up and kill all of us, I assume. Because of that, he came back here and caused a series of events that made us investigate the here. Right? At this particular moment?
Possibly, yeah. I can see that.
If we have 5 minutes until we're dead, if he wouldn't have controlled those things, we would have been out there dealing with those things and not in here when the thing goes off and destroys us. So we probably wouldn't have been destroyed by it unless
actually the mithril is going to blow the entire castle and everything around it.
Yeah, it depends on how big the explosion is.
Yeah.
And if this again, I'm going to
be nerdy
about the
But he could go back to before we came here and told us on the boat not to come here.
Maybe he has, and it's still messed up.
Did you get talked to by anyone?
No.
But
you're fucking with the loophole in my writing.
There's no loophole.
Also,
actually, this is the best part about time travel. I think that oftentimes people they think that there's a loophole, but the reality is that just because it didn't work on another path, he said, well, it didn't work. So I'm not going to do that again. So that's why his path is different this time. He could have done this 1,000 times and each time had a failure. That's why his body's all blown to shit.
Yeah.
Who knows what the thing is that caused him to... He could have been here, watched us been exploded, then not died because he's a Dark Lord, gone back again, tried to talk to us on the ship. We were like, we can stop it from happening. And then we get blown up again.
Yeah.
And then he goes back in time and he talks to us when we first get back to Darkon and we free Adri. We're in the library or in the college, and he's like, do not go to this location, and it still happens. And so now,
because he could have been like,
he's closing the gap, getting closer and closer to the point of impact, and this is his last shot because there's a 5-minute window. This is the Doctor Strange.
Well, he could have. I mean, he could have been like, "Hey guys, like back at the college. By the way, don't go to Castle Avernus." And then later, Adri learns, "Oh, my mother's journal for her memory is in there. I'm gonna go by myself or something." Like, I don't want to risk my friends. Victor said it's very dangerous for all of us. I'm gonna go by myself, and
Adri
because
goes
I
missing,
have to.
and then we go find her, and we end up in the same spot.
But you're making the assumption. You're making the assumption that there have already been multiple attempts to try.
We don't know that there
we don't know that, right? But so
we know there's been at least one,
right? So, but see, here's my thought process, and I'm going to borrow from Back to the Future 2 from this.
No, the one with the bad time travel. Okay, sure.
But I'm bringing it up for a reason because it highlights my point. Okay. Doc Brown brings Marty and Jennifer to the future to stop their kids from doing something stupid. He brings them there literally an hour before the event is taking place. So
to reduce the amount of pollution in the timeline that would cause an issue that they'd also have to correct. The closer you get to the event, the less chance there is to pollute something that would send something
Right.
off.
Right. But well, so I could think there's two things in my head about that. One is, yes, you would do it for that reason. The other reason would be is that human nature to immediately want to go attack, like this thing explodes. Let's just say there have been no other attempts, right? Okay, let's say that we came here, that Victor has not gone back in time and done anything to manipulate anything, that this was the natural course of progression of time.
Right.
We get to the castle, we get to this room, this thing explodes, we all die.
Right.
He comes back from the dark side, learns of our demise, goes through all these trials and tribulations in order to amass enough power to be able to travel back to this point. This is first contact, if you will, right? He comes back to this point not because it may represent the most logical position, but from an emotional standpoint, he's like, I know if I fix this, it stops this from happening, right?
Right.
He
But we're
could have
talking
gone
about, but that's an emotional reaction, right?
Right,
And the
right.
justification of us being then that he was emotional when he heard.
Yeah.
And then he had years of power acquisition in which he had no time with which to process any of those emotions.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well,
I think
I
given
mean,
that much time in power acquisition, it's not move to move, second to second to acquire the power. It takes planning and plotting and strategy. He had time to get a coat replica of mine.
Well,
but he says he fucked up.
but
Right.
also,
To me, that means he tried to do something
a bunch of times. That's what I'm thinking.
Or he did a bunch of wrong things to try and get to one solution.
Also, we don't know when he became like this undead lich being.
Right.
And in D&D, undead tend to be like obsessive about points. Like look at Strahd with Irina. Like that is a part of their nature, is that they become sort of like obsessed or fixated on something. So depending on when he became this lich, it could be that he does not have like the actual capacity to get over something even after all of this time, depending on what type of undead he is.
And therefore maybe he's fixated on the one point.
But if this is not the first time that he came back to prevent this, how did he know that this is a thing that happened? Right? He said, I fucked up, meaning that he had the power already to cause something that would cause a fuck up, meaning that he had to go back from a position of power in which he had already fucked up, and then we died, right? What I'm saying,
he's specifically asking us to keep him from doing whatever it is he's done,
right,
to get back to this point, which to me means he made a whole bunch of sacrifices and decisions and did a whole bunch of things to get enough power to do this, that he became the Dark Lord.
But here's my question. My question. Had he not done any of that stuff, would we still be here being protected from a guy who didn't have the power to come back in the first place? He must have caused the thing that destroyed us. That's the only implication we can make from this. Because why the fuck, how would he even know? If he didn't have the power to come back or observe that we had been killed, then he couldn't have already fucked up and gone back to, he would not even be aware of it. So that means he had to have done something fucked up in isolation. Then we came to save him, we die, and then we couldn't fix the previous one. But him being in the future powerful is the only way he could come back, which means he did that. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's either a multi-layered or it's the second time back, but there's multiple. It has to be. It's the only way that it makes sense, because otherwise, I mean, do you see what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, the only other way that could be is that if someone in this group that is not you, Adri, or Rain survive, in order to tell him when they do come back, hey, everybody got killed because blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Because he said, because he hasn't, I mean, I know
this thing was going to go off on its own without any interference from anybody at all. It's been not doing that forever. And then all of a sudden today decides to, without engagement from anyone here. He did this.
No.
Or there's something else we don't know.
Or there's something else we don't know. I like the fact that I enjoy the speculation. To me there are
I've been enjoying listening to you guys go back and forth.
this is a little bit of Schrodinger's cat. There are multiple.
No, because it did happen one way. We don't know which way it happened, but it did happen.
Right, but we won't know the exact one until we ask the question and the waveform collapses.
Yeah.
Well, there's clearly something else that we don't know, because what was the thing he said to Rain about not trusting a ferryman? Have we met a ferryman?
No, but he was talking specifically to Rain about something that he did.
Right, but I mean that means that there's something else going on that we're not aware of.
I'm certain that there's multiple stages of things that we are unaware of. But I think that if he's trying to prevent us from being hurt here, from being killed, that means that there is hope for him to choose a different path. He's already calculated that and he's had time to think about it. So that means that our move needs to be to go into the mirror and get him under supervision. And you know me, I fucking love that. He also said he killed the other me, which means that actively I'm out there right now doing shit.
Yeah.
Being evil. I mean, am I evil, really? Is evil Kavir really evil?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yep.
It's in the name.
No, that's what we call him. The parlance of our age has no distance over their behavior. Well,
then why did you call him? Why did you call him Evil Kavir? Why didn't you just call him Kavir number 2?
Because they called him Kavir and said, "What if you're evil?" Do you remember that? Remember that shit?
I noticed,
if he's the good guy?
I noticed during that like entire part of our game, when I would make notes, I would write like Adri, evil Adri, Kavir, evil Kavir, and then I wrote Ludo, mirror Ludo.
Bitch.
Favoritism. Well, technically,
my daddy can do no wrong.
Well, technically, Ludo, Mir Ludo, and Mir Kavir didn't take her nails, jam it in somebody's back, and then lick the blood off of them.
Pretty gross.
Yeah, all we know for sure is evil Adri is the evil Adri. All I'm saying is that if you were to judge the actions of this side's Kavir, right, by like without full context, if you were to judge his actions without context, you could make a justification that my guy's evil.
You certainly make the justification that he's only worthy of a plaque.
If you saw, fuck you. If you saw what I did, to SBO,
yeah,
you would think I'm fucking straight evil.
Yeah.
But in context, I'm actually a good guy. Maybe. You don't know.
For the right price.
I don't know. You seem to want to try and lock up a lot of people into some sort of indentured servitude versus contract. So
sounds like a tyrant to me.
There's a little moral gray area in there, for being honest.
It sounds tyrannical. You're right. Who knows? I could be evil. Maybe there are no good Kavirs. Maybe we're just all really good actors. Maybe all the Kavirs are working together and playing all you fucking dweebs.
Maybe you're the right Kavir at the right time. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe that's an Eagles song. Boy, that should all stay in.
I feel
like that should all stay in.
Yeah,
right? I think it absolutely should. Because that's the kind of talk you'd have at the table when something like this got presented.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
and then they can take all their own takes on it, and I like this part. I like this part. I like this part.
I'll be honest with you. This is the first game I've ever played in where I don't trust myself. Right? I'm not 100% certain I'm to be trusted. I'm skeptical of my own actions right now.
Okay.
That's
you did knock everybody out with sleeping food.
No,
I
was justified.
I didn't get knocked out.
That was justified. Yeah, okay. You just got knocked out of your wheelhouse. You were unable to stop the escape.
All right.
Don't worry. Give it a couple hundred years. You'll be older and you'll be wise. Maybe. Maybe. Probably not, but maybe.
I don't know. I feel like for being completely unprepared for that, I had you panicking a little bit.
I just think people who are completely unprepared often do fail.
I mean, you planned that. I didn't know what was going on, and yet you were.
I was so pissed at D-Walk when he started talking about poisons and shit. I was like, shut the fuck up. What are you doing? I was like making sure everyone ate. I was like, everybody ate, right? Everybody had seconds. Everybody's still hungry. Anybody want a little more? And D-Walk's like, you know what's great about poisons? I'm like, fuck off. This oh, hit them off at the pass, dingo. I'm like, shut up. Okay, sorry.
All good. He continues to drop the ruins to complete the circle around the mithril. And then he is like, almost forgot. He looks at Adri. Soth and Midnight are trying to bring back Strahd.
What?
They need the blood of Strahd. You all didn't give them access to the mirror. The other part of the Mithril's explosion was it triggered the blowing of the two mirrors on the ship. It was fun getting back.
Who rigged this to explode?
He points to the Necrocore. He followed a Shadow Dragon's advice. So the bright side, not the bright side, though. Whatever side you look at it. In this world, you'll survive.
I will make sure that you don't have to do this again.
He smiles.
Maybe
I'd cry if I could, but I don't have any more tear ducts.
Oh, Victor.
He hugs Adri with his one arm.
She'll hug him back.
Rain, I'm gonna miss our good times. We had some good ones.
I'm glad we did.
But don't trust the ferryman. You regretted it.
Okay, I will take that to heart.
The price he didn't tell you was every time he brought you back, it cost you a life of one of your friends.
I'm gonna slow turn my fucking head and stare right at Rain. You killed
Not you.
No, I know it wasn't me.
Wait, sorry, Jennifer came in here and I missed half of what got said because the dog's being a fucking pain in the ass. Can you,
No worries.
can you
leave it in?
All right. All right. Victor said, the price the ferryman didn't tell you was every time he brought you back, it cost you the life of one of your friends.
And then I slowly turned my head and stared right at you and I said, Rain, you killed Adri?
No. The explosion killed you and Adri. Ludo and Serial. It killed Rain too, but the coin brought him back. It took Rain years to figure out why his crew kept dying. But that future's not going to happen, so. You have to have someone willingly take the coin from you, Rain. Otherwise, it's going to keep popping up in your possession. He had his hand out.
He's wanting to take it from me?
Save you from the curse unless you want to live forever the hard way.
I'm going to take my hand and put it over yours and push your hand down by your side.
Wait, what? You want me to keep this?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he just told me that's a bad idea.
I don't know who this person is. I know who they were, but I don't know who they are now. This is that's a lot of power to hand over without fully understanding it. Hold the coin. We can deal with that later.
He gives you a nod. Victor does. I missed you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll put the coin back away.
I haven't had the opportunity to miss you yet. Let's
Just
hope
for
it
the
doesn't come to
vapor.
that.
He nods. He kind of gently shuffles Adri back a few feet. Sorry about the time spell. Please don't puke.
Too late.
When I go, this shield drops and all hell breaks loose.
So we should leave.
Well, the undead horde from downstairs is going to be no longer docile. The Doom Guards are going to be no longer docile. And the whites are going to come in. And the Necrocore will attack.
We need a book. We're here for a book.
Yeah.
2 books.
Rain, I don't know. You never found where the librarian was. Wait, no. He looks over the Necrocore. They trapped her in the dungeon.
Where's the dungeon?
Do we have time?
Yeah.
Down below the first floor.
We're not going to have time, are we?
You can. He looks over. Those two, he points to Ludo and Cyril. They can hold off the tunnel. They've done it before. That's what they're good at. At least that's what Adri always said her mother was good at. Killing undead.
I'm going to reach into my coat and I'm going to pull out my hat and I'm going to put it on. I'm going to tilt it low. All right, time to get to work. You ready?
Agreed. Let's go.
Ready.
Rain, I need you to get up to the ship. I know it's not a popular opinion right now, but you need to be ready on the wheel, and we're going to need you in about 10 minutes.
I'm on it.
Adri, you're with me.
Mhm.
You two, side characters, bit part. Get over there and hold the door. Make sure these whites don't attack us if we are a little late. Let's go. And I'm going
So
to...
you want us to hold off the Necrocore up here in the whites?
I need you to hold off our exit, however you have to do it. We will escape quickly.
Cyril's like, I can hold the undead horde downstairs. Ludo's like, I can handle Necrocore for whites. He draws his katana and splits it in two.
On our mark. And I'm going to dash before I say guess that go.
Adri's gonna give Victor one last look and be like, thank you. We're gonna fix this. Right?
Don't worry. I won't remember anything in a few moments. And he disappears and he takes the Mythor with him. I need con checks from everyone.
Oh
Con-
boy, time to throw.
Con check or con save?
Con
Con
save.
saves. Sorry.
Con save.
I know.
I have like certain things wired into my head.
18.
15.
Okay, you're both good.
9.
Oh.
Oh.
Somebody's puking.
All right.
Oh god, watch he's running.
Oh.
Can I get a acrobatics check to see if she slides?
But you guys are going straight down the stairs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, can you give me 1 minute?
Oh, of course.
Let me go see what the fuck
Yeah.
this damn dog did real fast. Sorry.
Hey,
I'll be
no
right
worries, dude. All good. Whew.
Time travel makes everything better. Time travel makes everything
So-
better. Everything's better with time travel.
I actually do have written out everything that transpired with Victor after the explosion in a sense.
I don't trust him having that coin. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
First off,
Dude, he's a
it
Dark
changes-
Lord who's a lich.
it
Yeah.
doesn't change our math at all. All it does is add a risk, right? We're friends with Victor, right?
Mhm.
So then we're still at risk, just like if Rain keeps the coin, right?
Yeah.
Except,
But we no
yeah.
longer have access to the coin. When we give it to this guy, all of a sudden, now we're at the whims of a person we can't reach, we can't get in contact with, and he can make a decision whenever he wants. And who knows whether or not the coin's abilities work through time. We don't know anything about that. So fuck that kid. He knows damn well I wasn't going to let him have that fucking coin. And you know what? I kind of resent the fact that he thought that he could get that past me.
Maybe he knew that you wouldn't let him take it, but he just wanted that interaction one last time.
I just look, my math was very quick on that. I was like, man, he's friends with us. That coin in his hands just means that it's in the future, and I can't get back to it if he decides to use it. By the way, he's about to face his untimely death at the end of this fucking thing anyway, so who knows what he might do with that fucking coin given enough time and the fucking river Styx.
Hey, friends,
And
can I have that coin that kills my friends?
yeah, no, fuck you. Also, we're already in that situation if Rain decides to use the coin, but at least this way, if he decides to fucking use that coin when the first one of us drops, the other one can take it from him in his sleep. But in that one, it'll be in the fucking future. Ain't shit we can do about it. So no, Victor, Lich Victor, Lichter, whatever your fucking name is.
Lichter.
No, you cannot have the fucking death coin. I'm sorry. And D-Walk, fuck you for trying.
I love you too, bro.
You know what? It's like that shit all the time. It's like, let me give you this nice moment and then ask you for something that you would never allow in a billion years. I would never let that happen. You would have to kill me twice before I let that happen.
I ain't gonna let. Hey.
You'd have to kill me 2 times because the first time I'm gonna lucky roll my way out of it and I'm gonna keep that coin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start offing you motherfuckers one at a time. I'm gonna be friends with every enemy we meet. I'm gonna be henchmen for villains, and then I'm gonna kill myself and bring myself back to kill them. I'm gonna spam this shit like dungeons.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. I am gonna take a moment to puke my guts out,
All right.
and then I will follow Kavir.
That's why you need that extra 5 movement speed.
It's 5 feet of puke.
5 feet
All
of
right,
puke
let me-
time.
Okay, so
That's the name of the episode, by the way. 5 feet of puke.
You know it's bad when you're measuring the puke in distance.
okay.
Oh, dude, I tried to tell you about a guy who tried to buy art for me in feet. Yeah, he was like,
You
I need like
have,
6
yeah.
feet of art. I'm like, fuck off, man. You don't. It's not flooring tile. Like that. Come on.
Nice. All right. Rain, which way are you going?
I assume I'm going down to the dungeon with the 3 of them to figure out what the hell is. I mean, they locked the library. Oh no, I'm sorry. Wait, I'm going to the ship. Never mind.
Yes.
Damn it.
Fuck.
This is
How are
why
you getting
I
to the
contract
ship?
everybody.
Yeah, I know. No, I forgot about that part. Sorry. Yeah, no, I'm heading towards the ship to get it ready. I gotta cross an awful lot of terrain to do that, don't I?
Or you go up, because you know the floor breaks after the 4th or 5th floor. Which, if you go down, you're gonna have to go serial through the horde that's about to start moving.
Well, then I guess it's up and out.
Okay. So Rain's heading up. Ludo's staying here to hold the line here.
Sorry. Let me
Go
double
for
check something real quick. Yeah, I used last game I used stone shape to seal that door when we came in.
So Nate's gonna have to figure some other way out.
Well,
Yeah.
no, that's
Okay, then Serial's gonna stay here and hold off the whites Ludo then, so she doesn't have to hold off the undead coming through the down below.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Unless
I
the
have
2
to
of
go
them
up,
start
right?
working. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
you'll have to
you can
figure a way out.
Yeah, you can split the 2 of them, and if you want one of them to go with you to head up with you, that's fine too.
Command decision.
So you're not alone.
Maybe taking cereal's the better choice here, because if we do happen to run into more undead,
She knows the castle.
she knows the castle. Let's do that.
All right.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
If you get my mother killed, like how you killed my horse,
He's gonna get
I
himself killed and
will-
use the coin to kill your mom.
I will be extremely upset, and I will kill you, and then I will raise you, and then I will
I'm
kill
good.
you.
I'm
and
going
then
to
I will
write a very sternly worded letter if you kill my mom.
And then she's gonna read your mail while she
No,
does it.
I'm
Yeah,
going to.
yeah, she's gonna
I
read
am
my
going
mail.
to kill you if you kill my mom.
Oh my god, what is
Wow.
going on here?
I'm not going to kill your mom. If she gets killed in the line of fire because of her own actions, I mean, what am I supposed to do? I mean,
You
I'm
can
not
always stuff her in your backpack and deal with it later.
that's right.
Ludo
pull the
puts his hand
hawks.
on Adri.
Speaking
I'm
of
more
line
worried
of-
about him dying than I am her dying.
Adrian didn't say that.
Okay. All right, now that we're going, okay. Okay.
I dodge all those lasers. No, I'm just kidding.
Well played. All right. So you two head down floor. Nothing's going on there. Ludo engages the white and the Necrocore. Let's start with Rain heading up. So Rain, you're going up to the next floor, right?
You're muted.
You muted.
Me?
No,
Oh.
him.
Sorry. I thought I muted myself in two places for some reason. I wanted to be extra muted. So but I got to go up and travel 2 floors, right? To get to the top.
One more floor will get you to the top.
Well, then one more floor it is.
All right.
There are no windows or anything on the first floor. I know we closed off the big entrance, but I figured maybe.
Let me actually. Okay, let's before you go up. Let's.
Yeah, before he goes up, let's just check to make sure there's no windows or chimneys.
No.
or anything like that.
Let me pull up.
Oftentimes buildings have windows on the first floor, so I just figured we'd ask.
No, that's fine. There is some window slits out on the battlements, but the battlements have been crushed on that floor. You would have to, if you headed that way, you would have to make your way through the rubble to get to the battlements.
19 strength is doable.
I mean, it's doable, but is it the most efficient way, or rather than just going up the stairs to the next floor, right? That's
If you go up to the stairs to the next floor, the ceiling on that floor is up in the air about because at that top floor is sitting the castle at about 45 feet. The next floor above that was ripped off the castle and it's sitting at 180 feet.
So open.
So the ship would have to come in between the spells to pick you up. Either way.
Well, once you're on the ship, you can do some fancy flying to get us through, but
there's still the matter of me getting on it.
Yeah, that's why we separated, because it's important for you to be able to handle that problem. While we handle this one.
Yeah. Well,
hold on, let me.
Time's a factor.
Where are you, Ludo?
Well, that'd be a cool. Where's Waldo? Where's
Ludo?
Like, there he is, macking on that waitress.
No, he has dimension door, but I think that's a singular target. I don't think he can dimension door multiple people.
What gets me to where I need to go the fastest?
You don't know how much rubble you have to move. You don't know how long it'll take you to climb down the side of from the roof, or how long the ship is, or how do you even contact the ship to come get you? Oof, man, I'm glad I'm just looking for a book.
Yeah, I have a feeling that the playing field may be more level than you think. Yeah, I don't know how to. How am I going to get there? I can't call the ship to me, or at least if I can, I don't know how.
Ludo can message the ship.
Well, yeah, that was my question as to how to get to either Cargillus or Brendan. But if we do that, then we're going to pull the ship effectively within this 140-foot space with a bunch of shit flying around and everything else. The other alternative is that I somehow find my way up and then to the outside of the building, crawl down, and travel, which still puts me having to deal with the horde.
How much does Adri like you?
I mean,
the nightmare.
Yeah, but she's
The
already
look
gone.
on both your faces was the best shit ever.
Yeah, but she's already gone.
Yeah.
Keep in mind too that just outside this door is a bunch of mist, so you're not gonna be able to just run out away from the horde.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to call the ship in.
You have to signal. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to signal the ship in somehow. And if it turns out that Ludo can message, then I need him to send a message to Cargillus and tell him, "Hey, it's Uber time."
Use your Aquaman powers to summon.
That's not how that works. I can
Maybe you could do some. Maybe you could do a rainbow by shooting mist through the air.
I can't do that, but what I could do is shoot a big old lightning bolt through the sky. That's a hell of a signal. Whether or not that. No, they need. There's going to be too much vagary here. We don't have time for vagary.
Can you lightning bolt in Morse code?
No, I can just make a big old stroke of lightning 100 foot long and 5 feet wide.
Yeah, that's not gonna do it.
It's not gonna do it. No, I'm gonna.
Can you yell?
I mean, I can yell. They're not gonna hear me.
Why not?
The distance.
How far is it? We told them to keep her like 30 feet in the mist.
Well, that's on the border of the castle. You guys did walk up into the castle.
Yeah,
they're trying to stay clear of the living spells right now.
Yeah, we traveled quite a ways to get from the outer perimeter of.
We dodged behind a couple rocks, but if you yelled, they knew that they were waiting on us. That's why they were hidden in the mist, right?
Yeah, but how far is it from where I am right now to the edge of the mist? I'm thinking that's hundreds of feet.
Well, I mean, we dropped down as soon as we came in through the mist and landed at the base of where the rocky outcrops were. That's where we dodged the undead. We stealthed through.
It was about 100 feet from there to the castle.
Okay, so it's not nearly as far away as I thought. Fuck it, I'll yell.
All right, from where are you yelling from?
I gotta get up. If the idea is to get them to swing the ship through the space in between third and fourth floor, if I'm thinking about that right. Yeah, I'm going to climb up to where we're going to board the ship from, which should be the very top of this stairwell, and go for it.
All right.
You know what? I have an idea. After the next time we get some downtime, I'm going to build a cargo net that just hangs off the side of the ship, and we can just grab a hold of it. Yeah, like Velcro gloves that we put on our escape, and just slap your hands against this net.
I can't imagine that somewhere within Kavir's mind there isn't this little nagging thought of, you could probably get some tubes and just like suck people off the ground through the tubes.
Oh man. Sucking dudes. That's the name of the next episode. A sucking dude tube.
No.
All right.
Oh wait, a dude sucking tube. A suction parentheses dude tube. I just want to apologize to Libsyn for these title suggestions. Please don't get us in trouble.
All right. So you head up the floor. As you head up, you hear the battle flashing hard below you.
So the horde's already on the move.
The horde's up against the stones down below, but it's the wights and the Necrocore that begin to fire off spells and whatnot.
Firing at. Oh, okay. All right.
Serial's using her shield to keep you blocked as you guys head up the stairs.
Firing at us, not firing at Adrian Kavir running
No,
the other way.
They've headed down as you're heading up. So you get to the top floor, you see the ceilings off the room. You reach what looks like it's kind of a spell casting room. You can see the battlements go out in the front and out the back. And you see 2 sets of rooms off to the side, but most of the roof's completely gone.
Okay. Is there a place that I can climb up on rubble enough such that I can look out over the entire area?
Yes.
That's what I'm going to move to.
Okay.
And then I'm going to start yelling. I'll start yelling for Cargillus.
All right.
Am I able to see the ship?
You see it.
Okay, so it's within the mist. We didn't push it back outside. Okay. Yeah, I just start and just start waving my arms and trying to get their attention.
You feel a tickle in the back of your...
Oh, great.
Yes.
Am I hearing a voice?
It's Cargillus.
Okay. We need to pick up pronto. I need you to get the ship right in between those 2 big sections of the castle that are separated.
I'll instruct the skeleton.
All right, just be careful. There's an awful lot of stuff flying around that is going to potentially cause a problem. Do what you can do to avoid it at all costs, but get here as fast as you can because time is of the essence.
Do what I can do?
Within reason, without breaking Kavir's ship, yes, please.
I will get the kobold ready.
He is still suffering from resurrection sickness. Be careful.
I'm just like, all right. Yeah, go for it.
Before we switch scenes, you see the ship begin to lower itself and pick up speed. And from the 2 cannons begin a barrage across the undead in the field.
Nice.
All right, at that point, you see Ludo come up the top of the stairs and begin to make a choke point at the top of the stairs, stopping anything from coming up.
And he's got the whites behind them still, or okay.
So him and Serial seem to be holding the choke point at the stairs.
All right. That means that Adrian and Kavir are going to have to fight through them to get past them to get on the ship. Okay, just making sure I know the lay of the land.
We'll be fine.
We jump down to the
makeup kit will save us.
She has death ward. We're good.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
I have full hit points. That's like a death ward for a professional.
So we switch scenes. You guys are running down the stairs.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So you guys have hit the first level.
Running.
Okay, so no, actually, my bad. You guys hit the second level, and I'm assuming you're going to keep going down those till you hit the first floor.
The dungeon. That's what we're looking for.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to grab the second set of stairs in that room to go down to the dungeon. So once you exit the spiraling stairs to go to the first floor, up in the front, you guys see another set of stairs that continues down into the dungeon area.
Okay. Where we're going.
All right. Okay, that's the first basement. That's the second basement. Okay. As you guys get down there, the rotting stench of decaying human flesh just surrounds the room as you get into it. But you see body parts laying around, you see rotten flesh just kind of hanging on the floor, but you're not really seeing anything else. You could tell this is where they kept the zombie horde.
Oh, great.
Before they let it loose.
I'm gonna...
You really can't blame them for not wanting like a zombie horde at the bottom of the castle.
I'm gonna yell out for Elizabeth.
Thanks for listening to Freelance Heroism. We really appreciate you coming in and listening. We also really appreciate all the people who support our Patreon. By supporting the Patreon, you're going to get behind the scene uncut clips that you'll get to see sort of like maybe the tissue behind some of the edited, cleaned up content. and you'll get that whenever we have a big block of it to drop, as well as any updates or any information behind the scenes stuff that we think the Patreons would like to know. So if you'd like to support our Patreon and help us continue making the high quality, high octane podcast that you've come to expect, go ahead to patreon.com/freelance_heroism. Thank you. And as usual, the invoice is in the mail. I like Kabir is not higher level than everyone else.
Mhm.
Like, so he's not like, he doesn't get to retain his levels when he's reborn or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, at least not every time. So when he comes back, he can always have like weird alter, but he's still the same person in his head, right?
Mhm.
So he taught basic kind of combat stuff to 1 billion students. Like over the course of his time, he's trained pretty much 5, 6, 10 generations of professionals, right?
Mhm.
How to do all of these basic things. So when he does this to a person who's not a professional, like a trick like that, like, or you know, drops ball bearings on the ground or any of those kind of tricks that he uses, whenever someone falls for it or gets hit by it, he's just like he just, in his head, I want you guys to know, he has this internal monologue: we're the best in the whole world. Like, in any world, we're the best.